All right, everybody, we got a new article. This one is from the Motley Fool. Look, what is the Motley Fool? Because as I've been getting into stocks, I've been seeing them a lot more recently. And first of all, that's an interesting name, right? The Motley Fool. I think I need to do some etymology on where that name comes from. Etymology is the history behind words and stuff. I was going to say a different word, but then YouTube wouldn't have liked the different S word I was going to say. Palantir secret weapon that could make the stock go parabolic. So I have not read this article. I like doing these where I'm reading it at the same time that you guys are seeing it at the same time. I don't know if you guys saw this article. It's from Jamie Loku. Came out about 3 days ago. We're going to switch screens. You guys are going to see it as I'm reading. I'm going to be highlighting some stuff. We're going to talk about it, do some analysis. I have no idea what this guy's argument is. Truthfully, I have not read this article yet. So let's jump into it. Why could Palantir's secret weapon make the stock go parabolic? All right, we're in it. Let's read. Analytics and software company Palantir Technologies has been a controversial company since its rose to popularity in September 2020 after its IPO. The company has historically been centered around secrecy because of its contracts with some of its U.S. federal agents, largest intelligence agencies. That's fine. It's confidentially, however, isn't why I'm fond of the company. The reason is its other competitive advantages, and one of those is Apollo. I'm actually doing a video coming out on Apollo a little bit later this week, and I tried to break it down. Apollo is a little bit of a hard to understand software. Gotham and Foundry make sense. Foundry's like data decision making. Foundry's data decision making. Gotham is like government defense. Apollo's a little bit more weirder. This software is something that very few competitors have been able to build as well as Palantir. Apollo could make the company a major success. I agree with that because it was so hard for me to understand Apollo in the first place. So being able to like try to analyze it and break it down, I could understand why it's hard for competitors to create an actual competitor to Apollo because it's a little bit difficult to understand. And then we have an image of a guy who's excited. Okay. Keeping data close to the vest. Why is Palantir so secretive? The company works with the U.S. Army and Department of Defense by helping them notice trends deep within data sets and take action on data that's hard to analyze. Yes, that's true. This makes Palantir the key holder for some of the government's most important data. It has since moved towards offering its services to the commercial sector in 2016, allowing for its business to be slightly demystified. The company still maintains some of the covertness because roughly half of its revenue comes from government contracts. Really good point. Obviously, they've been transitioning from 2016. A lot of it is still covert because you got to work with the government. 60% of the revenue right now is from the government. So 40 is commercial. If we can get that to flip to like 70 commercial, 30 government, then, obviously Palantir can be pretty big. Apollo. Palantir has two solutions. Gotham, software for governments, Foundry for commercial companies. An operating system for these is Apollo. That's a good way to describe it. The operating system for Gotham and Foundry is Apollo. Apollo gives customers secure, continuous, and independent stability. Apollo ensures that critical systems are secure and up-to-date 24/7 by being the control layer for coordination of security updates and adding features. Apollo ensures that critical systems are up to date. Yes, that is true. I had to read that again to understand it. So what Apollo does, and again, you guys can watch the video to go a little bit more deeper into it, but it's this like centralized hub for companies that are shipping out software updates consistently, and developers from all different parts of the network that operate within the company have to communicate with each other without having to literally communicate with each other, if you get what I'm saying. So Apollo is this centralized operating system that controls all nodes of the network and actually allows companies to ship things way more faster and efficiently, which ends up getting more features into users' hands. And if users get more features, they're more likely to stay using the product, etc. So it's like a centralized database for companies to be able to actually implement all their changes. With the extremely high level of security clearance, Apollo is just one of 5 SaaS offerings that are cleared for mission-critical national security systems by the DoD. Okay. This is considered level 5 clearance, one step below level 6, which accommodates DoD's classified information. So I did not know that. Apollo is just one of 5 SaaS offerings that are cleared for mission-critical national security systems. That's important. So if Apollo is one of 5 SaaS offerings, then I think I see where the article is going. Apollo is quite literally one of the best solutions in the world, and it is being used by some of the most clandestine agencies. All right, we got to look that up. What the hell does this clandestine? What does that mean? Kept secret or done secretively? Okay, this guy just wanted to. This is one of those. I can't complain, guys. So if something is ever intricate or complex, I don't say it's intricate or complex. I say it's Byzantine. Because Byzantine, and I like actually saying Byzantine, but I was told a couple years ago it's not Byzantine, it's Byzantine. Byzantine means complex. It's from the Byzantine Empire that like conquered some part of the world or whatever. But Byzantine means intricate and complex. And saying that things are Byzantine versus they are complex, it makes you sound more cooler. In fact, on my SAT essay that we don't need SATs anymore because Harvard's not caring about it. I wish they didn't care about it when I was doing the SAT. The first sentence of every essay that I did started with, it is very Byzantine to assume, because I was like, that's going to get them hooked. I'm going to get into Harvard. Did not get into Harvard, but I did get waitlisted from Harvard. So I wasn't fully rejected in the beginning, but then they rejected me like a couple months later. Okay. The adoption of Apollo software by government agencies shows how much the governments trust and rely upon Palantir. So he's making a government argument. Makes sense. The usage of high levels of government is a significant advantage that Palantir can flex to show how trustworthy its solutions are to potential customers. So basically saying if you can use the government stuff to set a precedent for trust, privacy, and security, then commercial clients will be more likely to use you. Palantir's other competitive advantages, including high switching costs and a sticky product. We covered that. That makes a lot of sense. Third quarter, Palantir only established 54 new contracts, but 51 of them were worth over $5 million. Really important point. Only got 54 new contracts, and again, only in a SaaS world it's not really that big much of a only for the first year of being a public company, but 51 of them were worth $5 million each, which is what's that? That's $250 million of revenue just in one quarter off 50 contracts. That's crazy. If a customer wanted to cancel a contract, Palantir would lose a significant amount of money. Yet, since these contracts integrate lots of customer data and capabilities into their system, switching to a new system would be costly for a customer. Also noting there are very few competitors with levels of security comparable to Palantir's. That makes a lot of sense. So he's making an argument first about stickiness, that if customers were to leave, it would be really hard. So like, yes, they could leave. They would lose a lot of money because they have a low amount of customers, but it's very hard to consider them actually leaving given how sticky the product is and how much their data is integrated within the software in and of itself. And if they wanted to switch to a competitor, let's say because they didn't want to keep paying the price, the level of security clearance you would need for a competitor that actually has that level of security would be substantial. And what we know about Palantir is it's those one-of-one companies that is really monopolistic in terms of its ability to aggregate data and protect that data. That is the key defining element of the 0 to 1 philosophy that Peter Thiel has. I did a video on that. I always tell people to watch it, but it's a really important philosophical foundation to understand the nature of this company, which is that when you go from 0 to 1, you build something that doesn't have competitors, which means no one can beat you, which means you become the market leader, which means you win. It's that simple. And that's what they're trying to do. Palantir's growing brand name has allowed the company to spend less on attracting hefty contracts. Third quarter, they've only spent $153 million on sales. Okay, that's fine. Risks and rewards. The company has seen a massive increase in adoption from the commercial sector. So some important stats for people who don't know. Q3 commercial revenue grew 103% year over year, resulting in total revenue growth of 36%. In guidance, $392 million. Company's still losing plenty of money. They lost 26% of revenue. But the company has been able to improve net loss substantially. In Q3, the company lost over $850 million. This has primarily been due to the decline in expenses, likely because of its increased reputation and rapid commercial adoption. If the company continues to leverage its high switching costs and unmatched security features to build its brand name, investors could expect further improvements to the net loss, which could ultimately lead to a pathway of profitability. Okay, then we got two last paragraphs. However, if the company were to lose the security reliability, the company could see some crashing down. Very true. If there is a data breach, that is very bad. Their brand reputation definitely matters. They see robust growth path ahead of it. It expects to grow top line 30% till 2025. Assuming the company grows at 30%, that would be a revenue guidance of $1.5 billion. It could reach 4.4 by 2025. That is pretty big. Such a growth rate is entirely possible. As a leading edge company that has seen a rapid adoption in the commercial sector, Palantir might very well explode over the next 5 years if it can continue to exploit its competitive advantages. Yeah, makes sense to me. So I think the real argument in this article was about Apollo, right? So some of the stuff at the end made sense. I was understanding what they were trying to say, but Apollo is the big thing here. Now, again, definitely check out the video I'm doing out on Apollo. It'll be out later this week. Apollo is a very interesting centralized hub for companies to work with him. But one of the main things about Apollo, again, which I didn't even know, is that it's one of the only 5 software services cleared by the DoD at a level 5 security rating. So I think that's the key point. This guy, what's his name? His name is John or Jamie? Jamie's trying to make in this article, right? So we kind of know how Palantir could go parabolic, but one of the key ways it can go parabolic is if it gets into the commercial sector with a product that has a level of security clearance that no other products have. If that's the case, that is a secret weapon. And a lot of people don't talk about Apollo. People talk about Gotham. People talk about Foundry. And those two things are very, very important. And those two things sort of make up the majority of how Palantir makes its revenue. But Apollo is one of those things that's a little bit harder to understand. And if they can integrate Apollo as the central defining network for how developers engage with their company, and it has the security level clearance, then that is obviously a secret weapon that could help it go parabolic. Over the next 5 years, obviously it's got to get to that 4.4 billion revenue by 2025, which seems entirely possible as it's meeting its guidance, growing 30% year over year. Apollo being a big part of that could help, not to mention all the other potential products they could offer in between that helps make that revenue guidance and helps make them actually get there and beyond a much more likelier possibility if they include and introduce other offerings, which I think they will, given they're putting out a press release like every other day because they've got so many new things to show. But obviously they got to hone down the commercial sector because they still don't have enough of commercial before they introduce brand new products that'll help more and more people discover who Palantir is. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think. I'll put this article in the description if you guys want to check it out. What do you guys think of Apollo? How do you think it compares to Foundry and Gotham? Let me know your comments. Looking forward to reading them. I'll see you in the next one.